Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast dedicated to the highs and some lows of crushes. From their first to their worst, we're going to cover them all with a cascade of characters, including our guest today, a Marvel fan with an eye for a different beast, D'Manda Martini, a drag performer, theater artist, cosplayer, and housewife that does a weekly art stream with fellow cosplayer Jade Justice Tuesdays on Twitch, who is here to talk about a random crush that has been going on since Color Me Bad had that one-hit song. We're talking about Disney's Beast, from the Oscar-winning animated classic, of course, Beauty and the Beast. D'Manda, how are you?
I'm doing well. That's one of the best intros I've ever had on one of these like podcast interview things that I've done. I love that. Love it. You can definitely tell that you are a writer with a passion for writing.
Oh,
I love it. I love it. But yeah, doing great. I have a couple of gigs coming up this weekend, which is great. So looking forward to those. And just, staying at home.
Stay at home, stay safe at home until we're all vaccinated and we get herd immunity, people. And then we're going out for drinks, martinis.
Yes.
All right, so let's get to it. I'm gonna set the scene. So the year is 1991. REM had us losing our religion, and Rugrats had just debuted the oddest looking toddlers to ever grace TV. And you were just out there in the world heading to the theater to take in one of the best Disney movies ever.
Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Did you go into the theater with the crush? Like you saw the trailer at home on TV and you were like, family, we have to see this. Or did it develop in the 84-minute run?
First of all, I was 8? Yeah, 9. I was 9 when this movie came out. I definitely didn't know like what to expect. I mean, I honestly don't even remember. I mean, obviously I would have seen a commercial. I wouldn't have known that the movie was coming out, but it wasn't like trailer culture wasn't like it is now, where it's like there's the hype for the trailer and then the trailer comes out and everybody's sharing it, all over the place. So no, I wasn't going in expecting to be like, oh, I'm totally gonna fall in love with the Beast.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, we didn't have YouTube. It was kind of like, did you have the VHS before this Disney movie to see the trailer? I think that's probably where we've got our trailers most.
Let's see. So what would have come out before? Was that Little Mermaid?
Little Mermaid was a couple years before. I'm not sure what came out in 90.
I don't think there was one in 90. I think it was Little Mermaid and then Beauty and the Beast, because Aladdin came out after that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. But I do know in the first few minutes where it's like, the prince turns into the Beast, I was definitely like, oh, something's going on here. Oh, okay. Who doesn't love a good asshole who's damaged?
Oh, we'll get to that. Well, I remember my aunt had better cable than us for a while. And one time I caught a scene from Beauty and the Beast, the TV show that ended right before the Disney version came out.
Oh, the one with Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, did you fuck with that Beast at all?
Okay, so I was too little.
Okay.
I say that, so I definitely remember seeing it and being like, what is this weird modern TV show? But it was one of those shows. That came. So when we were little, our bedtime was 9 o'clock. Like,
oh, wow.
9 o'clock was 9 o'clock. And it wasn't until we were in probably like middle school or high school that we were allowed to just sort of like, be people. But no, so it's like I might have like caught maybe like the first like introduction of like the show, and then it was like, okay, time to go to bed. My dad was a huge stickler for bedtime. And there was 4 of us, so like, that's kind of understandable. And we all had, we were spaced out enough that it was like, we were in elementary school, like some of us were in elementary school, some of us were in middle school at the time. But anyway, neither here nor there. But no, I remember that show and being slightly obsessed with it. Like being like, what is the show? I want to know what it is. I have not gotten able to like watch it again, because it's also Ron Perlman, right?
Yeah, I don't
With the
think they
Beast.
like stream it anywhere. I feel like it's one of those shows you just had to be there.
Probably.
Netflix isn't gunning for it.
No, but I remember when like Terminator 2 came out, like, you know, around the same time. I was like, I know her from somewhere, you know, not the other Terminator movie. I was like, I know her from somewhere. And then, you know, once we all discovered IMDB.
Yeah. Yes, lovely tool. You're like, who is that? I know them. Let me Google.
I mean, literally, I don't think there's ever been a time that me and my roommate watch a movie or TV show or whatever being like, who is this? If only there were a device that fits in my pocket that could literally give me any and all answers that I'm looking for.
It's why like watching something takes longer, because you're like, hold on, let me look who
Yep,
up. And then you
pause.
go to the Wikipedia and then you're like on like a conspiracy theory like page 2 hours later.
Yes.
What were we watching? Oh yeah.
And then I start playing the Kevin Bacon game where it's like, oh wait, they were in this movie with this person and they were in this thing, and then I'm like, oh wait, what were we watching again?
Then you're watching a whole different movie.
Yep.
Anyway. That's just happened to us. We did that.
Yes, literally. But no, I do remember that being a show, but I never really got a chance to watch it. But I was obsessed because like it's that like bigger guy who's like super protective, which I was like, oh, okay, like I'm into that.
You had a type. So you mentioned to me before today that there was one particular scene in the movie that made you feel a certain type of way. What scene was it, and how did it make you feel in that moment?
Okay, so like I was about to start, but I was like, you know, I bet she's got a question later for it, so I was gonna save it. So the scene that like always gets me, and so like as like a kid watching the movie, obviously it wasn't like oh, you know, like flutters or whatever. It was just like, okay, like that's cool. I like that. But like now watching, I'm like, oh, that's so hot. So it's when she runs away, and the wolves start chasing her, and they take her down, and she gets thrown to the ground. And there's the one scene, it only lasts for like 5 seconds. But he's like, where she's like laying on the ground and he is like on all fours kind of over her, protecting her. And she, see, you know what I'm talking about. And then he like jumps and like, you know, starts fighting the wolf. Like that scene is like etched into my brain. I wish I could get just like the cell, like the animation cell of like that scene, because it's so hot to me. I'm like, yep. I
don't know if the website still exists, but I used to do a lot of Disney List, and there's a website that actually like breaks down almost every scene in pictures. So if you know the movie, you can kind of go through the pages pretty fast to find the exact cut of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Add to list. Add to things to do later tonight.
I'll probably be going there trying to find that later.
But yeah, like that whole like it's that extra macho, and then, you know, later we find out that he is a little sensitive. You know, we find that out later. But like that super macho, like I need to protect you kind of thing. That's like so hot. I think that's another reason that like a lot of people who are attracted to men are also like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a thing where it's like you know what I mean, where it's like he has that like animalistic nature to like need to protect, you know, the people that he cares about, but because he is really sensitive inside.
He's a family guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean he's also still, again, a damaged asshole.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this today. I was like, wouldn't you be like him? Like we'll get to it, but he was what, like a kid when this witch came and turned him into this. And it's like, yeah, if somebody came to my house, I wouldn't be trustworthy. So of course I'm gonna lock up your dad and then I'm gonna lock you up because I don't know who's coming to my door. I don't have ring. Like,
Yeah.
I had to go through puberty as a beast. Like, come on.
So, and so like that's the other thing too that makes especially the Disney animated movie very confusing. So me and my roommate, we call this sort of thing drink for trying to make sense. It's when you like deep dive too much into like trying to make a movie or TV show too realistic. Like, girl, just take a drink and enjoy it. Like, there's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's too much. And they tried to fix that in the live action remake, where what happened is when the spell was cast, everyone forgot that there was a castle there, which is why there's like all of the people who like get reunited after the spell is broken, because they literally forgot that thing existed, or their whole lives, you know, before then. So like they tried to fix it because it doesn't make sense if he is a beast for 21 years or if he's a beast up until his 21st birthday.
Yeah.
That's not made clear either, because the narration just says it to his 21st year. It's like, is he 21 years as a beast, or is it he is now a beast from, let's say, 16 to 21? Which, again, to me, if there is a prince and there's like a whole ruling family, if it's only 4 years, are people really going to forget that? Even 20 years, are people going to forget that there's like this whole castle that all of a sudden he stopped? Like,
we forgot there was a monarchy.
Yeah, right? Like, we just totally forgot about this one prince or whatever. It's totally fine.
Where were his parents?
First of all, well, as we know in most Disney things, obviously they're dead.
Yeah.
Right?
The mom, for sure.
For sure she is dead. Dad probably like left to go rule some other country.
He was like, I got a new life. New wife,
yeah,
new
right.
Bye.
Bye. But yeah, so like that just never made sense, which is why I think they tried to do that in the live action remake, which I really did not like or enjoy.
I fell asleep until like it was good at the end when like Gaston's when they're gonna go kill him basically. And
yeah.
Like the action, I woke up, but before that, I'm not a fan of any of the live action Disney movies.
So yeah, I take it back. Cinderella, the live action remake, the costuming is stunning, and I'm also a theater costume designer. Like, the costuming is stunning. How it lost the Oscar to Mad Max Fury Road, I still do not understand to this day.
Really?
Yes, I don't understand. I don't get it. But for the most part, I don't care for them either. And I on principle have refused to watch the Lion King animated shot-for-shot remake, but instead of using cell animation, they use computer animation. Like, it's not a live-action remake if it's 100% animation.
Yeah, it looks like a nature documentary. It looks horrible. I won't watch that. I tried to watch Aladdin on the plane, and I think it looks like a porn parody. I just can't. I was like, what?
We didn't even make it to Will Smith entering the movie before I was like, no, I'm done.
I think I got to one song in the beginning.
Yeah. So Mulan was different enough that I feel like it was a different movie completely. It was another adaptation of the same story, and that's when I actually watched and finished. It was okay. I did not mind it. It still was weird that it's like, oh, well, the dragon's not believable, so we cut the dragon, and instead we're gonna make the villain a bird lady, and there's a phoenix.
I haven't watched. Yeah, after all the other ones, I was like, I'm gonna wait till Mulan is free.
It is now. It is now.
Good. Okay, I'll watch it.
It's different enough that I don't feel like it's the animated movie. But at the same time, it's like the changes that they make are like, but why? I don't know.
Why though? That means
again, they were like, we're getting rid of the. Well, so apparently one of the reasons they got rid of. I'm sorry, I go off on tangents. Feel free to cut any of this.
Disney.
But the reason that they cut Mushu from the movie was because he tested so poorly in Asian markets. in in the original animated series, Asian audiences hated Mushu. They did not care for him, so they were like,
art.
they
don't get comedy.
They don't get the subtle nuance of Eddie
Murphy.
But yeah, apparently he just did so poorly in the Asian markets. They're like, okay, so when we redo this, we're gonna not have that character be a thing. Which then feels weird that then she doesn't have kind of like that guiding like character.
That's like being a Disney. You need that sidekick.
Yeah. I think the Cricket's still there and her horse.
So Cricket made it.
Yeah, I mean, but the Cricket doesn't really do anything in particular. He's just kind of there. Like the whole matchmaker scene is kind of still intact.
That's good.
Yeah, but anyway, it's again, it's if you're already paying for Disney Plus, you know, you've got it. You can watch it. You know, it's big. So the other thing about the so Beauty and the Beast, to kind of get back on topic, I didn't like the production design. I didn't like the Enchanted Objects design of the movie.
It loses the magic when it's not bright and vibrant. It's like that's what I go to Disney for. I want to be in the fantasy, not just be like, I don't know. It's kind of like Harry Potter. It was kind of like yellow, and I don't want drama. I want like yay fun. That's why I'm worried for Little Mermaid.
I mean, we'll see, I guess. I mean, Little Mermaid is like my favorite. So when you asked me to do this, I was like, oh yeah, you know, I've got, you know, tons of crushes across stuff, and so like Prince Eric was like my first prince and like my first crush.
He is delicious.
Yes, just Prince Eric. But then like when I saw Beauty and the Beast, I also prefer Beast and not Prince Adam. Prince Adam is just kind of like, I don't know, like your regular run-of-the-mill like douchey prince.
Let me get
kind
to
of a
that.
thing.
Because this is your random crush, but what's not random about this is actually my mom's favorite too. She loves Beast as Beast. She would, when I was little, she was like, that guy's ugly, but as the Beast, hell yeah, I'm fucking with that one. Do you think that Disney did Beast dirty when they animated him as a human?
I don't think so. I think he's very generic looking, but I guess that's kind of the point. I think we're not supposed to care what he looks like, because obviously the point is that she falls in love with the person.
I guess that's like, shouldn't she be rewarded with like a hotter guy?
But at the same time, objectively, Gaston is hot, right? Like he is one of the most attractive Disney animated peoples. Like,
not for me.
Okay.
I'm like a Prince Eric Robin Hood.
Okay. But like Gaston is attractive. Like he is definitely an attractive person. And so we know that she is not drawn to someone who is super conventionally attractive. Now, Prince Adam still is, quote, attractive. He looks a little bit like if and when Tarzan were to take a shower and maybe get some like highlight.
Yeah, I could see that. They kind of took his look for Tarzan later. Yes.
Which, so I recently rewatched Tarzan with my friend Dax, and we laughed so hard because again, drinks were trying to make sense, but watching this movie, I'm like, he's gotta stink. That hair is just a giant nest of fleas, ticks, and nonsense. Like
Jane, get it together, girl. Yes. He is not for you.
Yeah, I'm like, his breath has got to stink. Like, he's got to have just like all kinds of nonsense in his fingernails and toenails, and I'm like, this, you would not be attractive.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
No. Yeah. Those are things I've never thought about, but yeah. Like, he's also going to the bathroom in the, like, jungle, and like...
Mm-hmm. And also literally been wearing the same loincloth since he was born.
Ugh.
Like, it started out as white when he was a baby, and now it's brown.
like Belle could change Beast, but like how much work was going into Tarzan? Like she was trying to give him etiquette lessons, like first shower, girl.
We're gonna shave this hair off because it is a problem.
It would just be like dreadlocked to the.
Yeah, and I mean, this is my personal opinion, but like white people dreads, no, like that's like that mayonnaise that they put in there.
My fiance will come in here and go on for days about white people and dreadlocks. It is his most hated thing in the world. He's white.
It's awful. So I went to college in Utah, and like you knew the granola kids like hung out at the coffee shop because they were the ones with the terrible white people dreads. And it was just like, listen, Brayden, like this is not the look for you. Please. Just because there aren't a lot of Black people in Utah does not mean that there is a vacancy. No.
Take that hacky sack and your dreads and get out in face.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of talk amongst the fandom, the Disney fandom out there, that Disney sort of inspired a generation of furries because there's not just Beast. There are those out there, like myself, who would love a night with Robin Hood. And that little Australian mouse from Rescuers Down Under, Scar, Simba, and so many more. What are your thoughts on that? The furry generation. I think it's...
I mean, so that combined with sort of the furry stuff that comes from like the anime world, like absolutely I would agree. Because also, I mean, even some of Disney's animation, like as you know, as we've moved on, definitely kind of pulls from some of the aesthetics of anime and manga. So I would agree. I mean, there's definitely some people that's like, oh yeah, I fuck with Robin Hood, and I'm like, he's a fox though, right? Like, yeah,
but it's the boys.
I mean, and so like that's the other funny thing too is so I think that actor was like the voice actor. I think he was like a kind of a Disney regular, and I remember again like looking him up on IMDb, but being like, I don't know him, but like Phil Harris, who did Little John, you know, he did a ton of stuff for Disney. But most of his characters are that kind of same like Little John type. But anyway.
Was he Baloo? Because it's basically drawn the seams.
Yeah. So Phil Harris was Baloo, and he was also Thomas O'Malley in Aristocats.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say he was another. Was he in Winnie the Pooh? No, he was not. But anyway, no, yeah, I totally agree that I think like that definitely kind of got people into being like, okay, well, like this whole furry thing is, I mean, it's just so interesting. So like, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes.
Okay, so like Simone's look from last week, like the crazy queer,
it went insane.
Yeah, furry community is like, pow, 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 pow.
We are seen.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think Trixie or Bindle, I think it was a pit stop. They were like, Simone's gonna be doing furry conventions. Like 100. She's gonna be booked.
100% she is. And the other thing is, I also wonder or not there is also the correlation of like in queer culture, pup play, which is not quite furries, but it's like where you wear like the leather dog mask. Okay. I mean, listen, as long as people aren't trying to fuck actual animals, I think whatever two consenting adults do, go for it. Do whatever it is that makes you happy.
We're gonna stay with the animals for just a second because we just talked about Simba, and then Home Improvement also debuted in 1991 as, you know, along with Beauty and the Beast. And you're of the age where JTT was huge for crushes. Was he someone that you crushed on as well, or you were like all in on Beast at that year?
So no, I never really had, like, I remember we watched Home Improvement growing up, but JTT was not for me.
What?
So It's like I wasn't into the brothers on Home Improvement.
No, Brad was ugly.
You're like, wait, let me just stop you there and let me tell you. But no, like JTT was not like, so also growing up as a queer child, like I wasn't allowed to get like the teeny bopper magazines and stuff. So my crushes mostly revolved around like comic books and stuff.
Okay.
So like I had those, and then of course Beauty and the Beast. But like my real like crush sexual awakening happened a few years later when My So-Called Life aired and Jordan Catalano entered my life and my
Jordan Catalano.
Yes. Again, talk about damaged asshole. Again, he's not stupid, he just can't read.
If you were like a cute boy, and when we were growing up, we would say your name like Jordan Catalano. We'd be like Robert. I won't say his last name.
Yeah.
Like, Robert, Mark, like. And I didn't even watch the show, but I knew who Jordan Catalano was. I was like, that guy's cute.
I mean, unfortunately, Jared Leto is a complete sociopath.
Yeah,
but
you can't like look at him backstage at concerts if you're like working. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, so he runs a full cult now. Like he has a cult now. Like he's absolutely insane. But like he got me into thumb rings. Like, I don't know what it is about a man with a thumb ring like that. So and that long hair. I mean, I didn't even have long hair at the time, and I totally did that stupid like. It's now been popularized by the newer generation of Kristen Stewart from Twilight, the like push the hair behind your ear.
Oh, okay.
But first of all, that was the Angela Chase for the longest time from My So-Called Life. But Jordan Catalano also did it. And, like him and like a stupid like thermal white fitted t-shirt with like a big flannel over it, and him like holding his hand over his mouth and like just to say,
like give it to me.
Yeah, like that was definitely like me going, yep, that is something that I would like to touch. Like Beats was like, oh, I need that to like protect me, and like it makes me feel like safe and warm, and like the feral like, oh, protect me and you're so sweet. Like that was definitely like that crush. But it is funny though when people talk about like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was just not it for me. I don't know if it's because like he was like my same age, and so like it was like a weird confusing queer thing for me, where it's just like, oh no, I can't be attracted to people who are like in my actual age range.
So you didn't like anyone at school? You're like,
no.
You're like, no, I need an older man who's damaged.
but at the same time, that I think that's also, again, as someone who goes to therapy, I think those like a self-preservation technique of being like, I can't like people. Yeah, I can't have like crushes on like boys in particular, because that's what's going to get me in trouble. That's what's going to get me that's going to be a problem where I could then be in danger.
Yeah, especially in the 90s when it wasn't as open, as woke as the kids are today. We have like LGBTQ alliances at school now.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, at that, I mean, the early 90s, like I was at elementary school, and like kids are terrible. I mean, we don't need to deep dive into this. Let's keep it light and fun. But I mean, kids are terrible. So like anything to like not have that sort of like, continue to move forward was, I think that was definitely a thing. It wasn't until like in high school, I would say I probably had like some crushes on boys, but that it mostly was like the soccer guys who like my brothers were friends with. So it could be like, they're still over there, like they weren't part of my friends group, kind of a thing.
They were kind of like celebrities. The athletes were the celebrities at the school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially like the soccer guys, because also soccer guys are totally hot. I still don't understand why soccer guys need shirts. Like their numbers can be on their shorts. Like,
that's very true.
Like,
please run that campaign.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need them. But like, I remember the soccer team of like the era that I was in high school. They would get in trouble at the pep rallies because they would like write our school's name across their stomachs and like flash their abs. And it was like, oh, it's inappropriate. And I'm like, don't stop.
Like equality. This is equality.
Yeah, I'm like,
all...
first of all, these cheerleader uniforms do not meet any single dress code regulation that you have set up. So just leave it alone.
I was always like, because the boys at my school, I went to a school, we had a lot of Black and Hispanic kids, and they said, don't sag your pants, it's getting cold, we can't see your boxers. But then the girls would walk around with their thongs, it's the early aughts, their thongs out, and I was like, well, that nasty girl over there has, like, this one girl, she was just so pasty and white, and I was like, I don't want to see that. I'd rather see that guy's boxers. That's not a
yeah. Oh, the whale tail.
I can still see hers. It's this one pasty gothic girl.
Yeah, no, thank you. Oh my goodness.
So we touched on the non-human animated Disney crushes, but I think as a whole, Disney has given us so many crush-worthy characters. We talked about Prince Eric, and there's Aladdin and Hercules. And we watched Drag Race, and I was so taken aback when Denali mentioned this season that her first celebrity crushes were Aladdin and Hercules, and the other queens were kind of like, what? Like Simone even was like animated people. And so I'm wondering, like, have you ever gotten any pushback from your friends when you're like, yeah, Beast is my man?
No, like, because I feel like okay, so I don't know how old any of these queens are on Drag Race.
I think only Tina was older. Tina and Tamisha were the only ones older than me, I think. And I'm 33. I was like, what?
But like, to me, and like my friend group, like, that's totally normal for us to kind of talk about that. But I mean, I'm also a comic book nerd, so like my, like, you know, a lot of like my crushes and stuff, and it's definitely something that like me and my friends talk about quite often. So like, that to me isn't weird. And like, when other people are like, what? I'm like, I don't know, what's wrong with you though? Like, I don't know, did you just not have a TV? Did you not enjoy watching media growing up? I don't know.
So Denali, not alone. We're with you.
Yeah, no, girl, you have your crushes. I mean, so I would consider Aladdin like kind of another crush, but also I mostly crushed on Aladdin because I did like DJ. I don't remember the character's name, but DJ Tanner's boyfriend from Full House. Yeah, Steve. Like, I definitely was into him.
I didn't know he voiced him until like years later. I was like, what? And you know who voices Prince Eric?
Yeah, it's Greg Brady.
Yeah, I just learned that last year, and it blew my mind, and I like couldn't handle it, and I was like telling my friends, I was like, I don't know if this crush can go on because like Greg Brady.
But the new Greg Brady, not like original Greg Brady.
Yeah.
But no, I think I found that out. So I have a 10-year-old niece, and I want to say when she was like 2 or 3 is when the first time I watched Little Mermaid with her, and I like looked, because I would look up Pat Carroll. I'm like, oh, is Pat Carroll still alive? Okay, good, she is. But yeah, I found out that second Greg Brady voiced him, and I was like, what? In fact, I think it comes up in my Facebook memories, because I'm sure that I made a post about it, being like, does anyone else know this?
It's like one of your life events on Facebook.
I got Greg Brady as Prince Eric. But Scott from Full House did not do the singing voice. That's another Disney regular voice actor, James. I always get it confused because there's James Marsden, who is like Cyclops from the X-Men movie. But I think his name is Jason Marson, something like that. But he's another, like, he also did the voice for the cat in Hocus Pocus.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like that guy, which is also just so weird. So like, they hired that actor to play him in the movie, but then they overdubbed his voice by this other like Disney actor, which is just
make
so
any
weird.
Sense.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Who knows Disney's decisions?
Yeah.
So for me, what's great about a crush like Beast, and perhaps why your crush on him has lasted for 30 years, is that he'll never change. Unlike
Yes.
a Backstreet Boy or even JTT, they grow up and they can either age badly, they become problematic.
Thanks,
A
Jared
range of
Leto.
things. Like, yeah, Jordan Catalano becomes a cult leader. Do you feel Beast's ability to remain perfect in your eyes is why this crush will never die for you?
Probably, and I think that's another reason that, like, so in comic books, you know, characters last forever, and so like you know but they'll still change over time. Like, you know, more stories are being written, and you know, different things are added to their personalities and canon. So like, Colossus from the X-Men is definitely like a huge crush of mine. I've loved him for forever. He's also big, strong, silent type. Kind of a thing, but has the heart of an artist, and he loves to paint, and he just wanted to live a quiet life, you know, in his homeland of Russia. And so like I've always loved him, but like since, you know, comics continue, like more things have been added to storyline, which make him a little questionable sometimes. But like with Beast, his story is done. Like I don't even think I've seen like any of the animated sequels
No.
of Beauty and the Beast.
No reason to.
Yeah, there is none. Because also trying to fit that in any kind of timeline of that movie, because it starts in the fall and then all of a sudden it's springtime.
Well, don't they have like snow? She has
Yeah. So, but that happens in like the day that she's kidnapped.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking like how long was she there?
Well, and I think that's also part of the problem of the movie that I think they tried to fix in the live action adaptation is the full timeline of how long was she there? Because it totally snows. Yeah, she was literally there for like 3 days, but I don't know if you know this about France, but it only has winter for 3 days. It just goes from fall to spring. But with Beast, he's just there. He's just in that little capsule. We really don't even get that much of Prince Adam, which is fine. Totally fine.
The only thing that's ever been brought up that's kind of negative about Beast is that he did kind of just keep her prisoner, which, I mean, one could argue that's problematic. Where do you think that Beast and this one little problem he has with stacks up against maybe Aladdin's fuckboy personality or even John Smith's colonization? Because every Disney guy's got an issue.
Oh yeah, and Hercules is like the definition of himbo. Like, he's an idiot. Like, he is not smart at all.
Meg
doesn't
is
need
too
to
good
be.
for him.
Yeah, 100% she's too good for him. But she looks at him with those pecs and she's like, I mean, I can make that work. But so like, yes, Beast definitely is a problem. Like his like kidnapping and like holding people prisoner is definitely a problem. However, his character arc is, this is how I started, and he had, you know, his guiding conscience of, you know, the three enchanted objects, Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Mrs. Potts, to be like, no, this is a problem, so we're going to help you move forward. So, I mean, yes, it's a problem. However, one of the first things he does is like, oh yeah, I'm not going to keep you in here. I'm going to put you in one of like the nice rooms. But then because he's so used to being rejected and, you know, being afraid of what people are going to think because he is this hideous beast, he's gonna be like, but you can't ever leave this room unless I come get you. And it's like, girl, it's because listen, I also have a bit of a temper and a you know, like a control issue sometimes. So it's like, I get that snap yelling at somebody. Like, I get that because like if someone's gonna say like, talk back to me, excuse me, let's go. Are you what? No, you're incorrect. This is so like, I get that. Yes. And I recognize that in myself, that's a problem. That's why you have to like think about what you're gonna say.
Like, compared to the other Disney guys, where do you, like, in a top like 5 problematic Disney guys, do you think he even makes top 5 problematic?
He might be like number 5, because like number 1 to me is John Smith.
Oh, of course.
like John Smith's number 1. Like, that whole adaptation is I mean, I still love the music of that movie specifically, and I love Pocahontas. I mean, Coco can also get it.
True.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah, R.I.P. Like John Smith is definitely the problem. Followed very closely by John Rolfe, because that movie was an outright lie. Like John Rolfe was not a very nice man. Like let's not get that twisted.
Is that the
either.
sequel?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen it like one time.
So yes, like John Smith, definitely a problem. What was it? John Rolfe? Was that his name? He was actually Pocahontas' husband. But questionable as to whether or not she actually agreed to get married.
Yeah, because wasn't she a child?
Yeah, so
In real
she
life?
was historians believe that she was around 10 to 14 when John Smith came to America. By the time that John Rolfe came and they got married and he took her back to England, historians think that she was probably closer to 20, but also thinking about like the times back then, you know, girls were probably getting married at 14, starting to have kids. Like what we consider yeah, I mean what we consider to be a childhood was not a thing up until like the early 20th century.
Yeah.
Like that it was like, are you old enough to start picking shit up and like working?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of, you know,
As soon as you can procreate, you're a grown up.
Yeah, exactly. So like it was like, it's still creepy, obviously, again, especially, you know, us trying to look back. But anyway, yada yada yada. I mean, he's definitely a problem. Like those two are definitely problems. Who else is a problem? As far as like the princes go. I mean, Snow White's prince, who doesn't even get a name in the movie. All he does is he surprises her by singing with her, and she's like, I don't know who the fuck you are, sir, but this is weird. And then just shows up to kiss her, and then they live happily ever after. And Snow White also is in the movies is like 13 to 14.
Yeah, she's one of the youngest princesses.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like, why was she roaming around by herself in the woods at that age?
But again, there was no such thing as childhood. Like
she's probably going to work.
Yeah.
She worked in the mines next to the 74.
Yeah, she had to go clock in. So like I think he's a bit of a problem. I mean, Prince Philip isn't really a problem. I liked Prince Philip. He definitely tried to be a good person. I'm going through like all of the Disney movies. I mean, Flynn Rider, though very smoldery, still a bit of a problem.
Yeah. I think he is kind of like Aladdin in a way, where it's like he's out for him until he finds something he wants. Like,
yeah,
I didn't feel for him.
Yeah, which just so happens to be a very sheltered, naive woman.
Yeah. Who took the first human contact she got.
You're right.
She thought, ooh,
right.
Pretty boy.
I mean, and even though Jasmine is like more headstrong and a little more goal oriented of being like, I know what I want, she still is very naive in like the ways of how human interaction works, because she never gets to leave the palace.
True.
Because also the fact that she totally falls for his like deception. It's like,
Prince Abudu.
I mean, now granted, I will say, especially living in our modern times of people like wearing masks and stuff, it is hard to recognize people.
I know. So, we moved during the pandemic. I still don't really know our neighbors. I know all their dogs. I know all the animals, and that's how I recognize them if we're out walking. But I don't know. I'm like, who are you?
Hi. Because also you can't just get away with like the half smile.
Yeah.
Because you have a mask on. You have to physically like wave.
Or my eyes get big and I look insane. I'm like, hey. And I'm like, I hope they know that I'm not like stupid. Like, it's hard. The struggle is real.
It is.
I'm so nervous to go back to real life, because I'm like, oh, how am I going to interact with these people?
I know. I mean, granted, I'm a fairly pleasant. Like, I'm a person that I'll smile at people in the grocery store just because, you know, whatever. And so I still haven't lost that habit. I still smile at people all the time, and I'm like, they can't see you, girl. What are you doing? That's not helpful to anyone. I mean, I guess it kind of makes me feel better about the fact that I feel like I'm being pleasant.
You didn't lose it. You lost it. So you've mentioned this quite a bit, that Beast gave you this love of like these men who can protect you and they're ultra masculine. Has that been who you've dated in real life, the real life humans who you've dated and found yourself attracted to?
Real life humans, I have been on a total of 2 actual dates in my entire life. So no. And I think that's part of the problem, is that I have this Disney ruined me thinking that like there was going to be some man that's going to come into my life and like protect me from everything. I mean, as far as like people that I'm attracted to, I guess so, but like as far as like any sort of actual relationship, no. but again,
the goal though.
I mean, first of all, the goal is that in about 5 to 10 years, I find a man who will tell me that I need to stop working because I'm fucking up our taxes. Like, that's the goal.
Yes.
I
would love that.
That's like the legit for real goal.
Like I'm a feminist, but I also believe, as much as I believe in a woman's right to work and own the company, like I want to be that housewife. Like I love cooking, I love cleaning, I love laundry all day.
So I mean, just like I said in the stuff that I sent to you, and you said in like kind of my introduction, like I would love to be a housewife like that, and like just not worry about. I mean, granted, there's still things to do. Don't get me wrong, but like not have to like go to work,
Like I want to be a classroom parent. It's like my old, like I don't even want kids, but it's like
I'll go volunteer at the school.
Yeah, like I wish I lived closer to my family because my nephew is in 3rd grade, and I would be that weirdo aunt making arts and crafts all day.
Oh yeah, I would volunteer all the time. Like my niece lives in another county, and before the pandemic, I'm like, I would love to be like, sure, I'll come. I can chaperone any kind of field trips, or I can bring the Rice Krispie treats for people's birthdays. Yes. Like I'm down. Like I love all that stuff. A friend of mine is a house husband, and it's like, listen, this is still a partnership, and for me, again, not saying that anyone else's relationship is good, bad, indifferent or whatever, but it's like, if you're gonna go and you're gonna work and you're gonna do all of the working, and I don't have to go to work, that means that then I will fully become my mother, where it's like, now I take care of the house, I make sure all of our bills get paid on time, I plan out dinners and stuff. Like, I'm not saying like when he gets home from work that I will have dinner ready. What I will say is, do you want me to start dinner, or are we gonna like fuck first? Because that's
priorities.
Yeah, because that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, I think because of the sort of media that I consumed growing up, and the relationship that I saw modeled to me from my parents. Like, my mom did work off and on for me growing up, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, when you're at home, you just sort of take care of the house, because then that's your job. And now that I'm a homeowner, it's like, oh yeah, there isn't someone here to clean this. Like, that's me. That's me who does this.
My goal, my best friend is a lawyer. She works for the government, and like my goal is like, girl, you get up there in the ranks, and then you get this big, beautiful, sprawling home, and I'm gonna be your house executive, your estate executive. I saw it on Real Housewives of Atlanta. That was a job, and I was like, what is that? I want to do that. I just run a house.
Yeah.
So I told her. I was like, girl.
And most of my jobs as an adult have been like executive assistants to people who like run companies or whatever. So like, I'm good at like the organizing and like doing the sort of like the administrative tasks of a household and all that. Like, oh no, I'm good at that. Like, I got this.
I know. I was like, some people are born leaders. I was born to assist. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm a really
I'm like a really good assistant. I'm really good at my job.
I love organization.
I mean, girl, you're talking to somebody who literally has a spreadsheet for drag. Like, I have all my wigs categorized and named. I have a list of all the drag events that I do, all the content that I film, when I'm going to be posting that content. Like,
I love it.
I love being organized.
I just like fanned myself because I was like, that's hot. Like, organization is the hottest.
Yes.
Before we wrap up our talk about Beast, if you were Belle or just yourself, you know, and you got to live your ideal life with Beast, would you stay in the castle or tell him to sell it and like move to a different city? Like, let's get out of here. Let's travel, Beast. Like, what would your ideal life with him be?
Well, I think we keep the castle because that's, you know, that's still status, and she loves to have a bit of status. But I think we would travel. Like, I would, because so I, by nature, I am like a suburban person. Like, I love being able to be like in sort of a small town, little town, it's a quiet village. So like, I like that kind of life where I kind of know people in town, I know what to do, but I'm close enough to the city that I can still go and do cute things in the city. And I'm not far, you know, and I'm not far enough away from many places that I can go travel and like do things like in my area. But also having the money and ability to be able to go, yeah, do you know what we're gonna go do? We live in France. Let's go to fucking Italy. Like, let's go. Like, you know, like what are we doing? Nothing. We're the monarchy. We literally don't have a job. Let's go.
I know, like, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Like, for real. So yeah, I think so. We would keep the castle, but we would probably still go visit Dad. You know, in
would you
in the little town. Oh yeah. We would definitely be putting some additions onto the house, give him like a full workshop, you know, all of his stuff, and he also likes to, you know, explode things, so make sure that he's got that outdoor area for him to go test his stuff.
Insurance.
You know, and Philippe needs a better, you know, stall, so we're gonna give him, you know, a nice little outdoor moment. You know, give him you know, a little remodel. But no, we'd go visit him. But yeah, no, we would travel. We'd just be doing all of the things.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the art stream you do weekly with Jay Justice?
Sure. So we're very casual about it. So like this week we did. So last night we did not actually do it just because scheduling things. Like, that's one of the things that I love about working with Jay. So she's another cosplayer and advocate, and a very good friend of mine. And so it's like, when life happens, it's like, cool, like it's fine, it's not a big deal. And because I'm such an organized queen and have things that I want to do, so it's like, if Jay messages me and says, hey, you know what, I can't stream tonight, and I'm already like, you know, half painted, I'm like, do you know what, girl, it's fine, I'll do some TikToks, I'll take some pictures, you know, I'll do this other stuff. Like, that's not a big deal to me. So it's like, there's never any pressure for it. But so it's called Rusty Gay Ass Art. Rusty Gay Ass Art. Yeah. And what we do is, so Jay messaged me and she was like, hey, D'Manda, do you draw? And I was like, I haven't drawn in probably a decade. Like, it had been a while. And she was like, for me too. She's like, would you want to do this art strip with me where we just start sketching and just start like getting back into doing art? And I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So like, at first I started by like coloring, because I was like, I don't even know if I even know how to like draw anymore. So like, I started with like coloring, like adult coloring books. And by adult, I mean like coloring books made for adults, not.
Yeah, like the mandalas and all that.
Yeah. Well, so mine, of course, were comic books. So it was like comic book pictures that I could color. So like, I started with that to sort of like get used to like that, and then I started sketching, and so we would have themes every week to like sketch different things, and she and I just kind of talk about comic books and cosplay and pop culture and movies, and, you know, any of the stuff that we just sort of like find interesting. The last time that we met, so last week we actually did, we just worked on some cosplay stuff. So she was painting Leiku, which are like the head tentacles from Twi'leks, who are a species from Star Trek.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, not Star Trek, Star Wars.
Oh, is it like the chick.
Yes. Yeah.
Ahsoka? That one? Is that her name?
Yes. Yeah. So Ahsoka. So she has Leiku, but she's a different species that have Leiku. If you remember from Return of the Jedi, the dancer that Jabba like sends to the pit and gets eaten. So like those. So she was working on those, and I was working on some wig stuff. So I was styling wigs. So it's nice because like technically that still is art. That is part of the art that we do. Because we are people who just who like to create stuff. But we do it on Tuesdays on Jay Justice's Twitch, which is twitch.tv/thatjjustice. And again, we usually do that Tuesdays at 8:00. So it's super fun. It's very laid back. So aside from the fact that it got me back into like drawing stuff, it's also good for me because it means I have like a weekly appointment to do drag. So if I don't have any other kind of like cosplay or gigs or something to do, it's kind of like, oh well, I can create a look at least every week to be able to have like content for my social media, which is fun. And also like trying it, it's also like a way for me to like play with makeup, because usually if I'm doing like a specific character or a cosplay, it's like, okay, well I have to work with these specific colors or do this specific shape or whatever. So it's kind of fun to be able to like, I can do whatever I want because it's not anything that needs to be based in something particular. So it's fun, and also it's just nice to be able to like have an appointment to talk to somebody every week.
Now.
Yeah. So it's been fun.
I'm sorry. Did you start drawing when you got into comic books, or were you drawing before that?
So it was definitely one of the first drawings that I remember doing was Jessica Rabbit. Because I was definitely obsessed with Jessica Rabbit because I wanted to be Jessica Rabbit.
Who didn't?
I mean, honestly, yeah. So it definitely was like sort of like the animation, and then I was already into comics, and I started drawing comic book characters, and I started creating my own characters and all that stuff. And then in high school, I actually got into which I think a lot of kids did at the time, where it's like you look at, it was like recreating comic book panels. So like looking at a picture and then like drawing it for yourself to sort of get used to like popular artists like shading and stuff. So I did that in high school, and then in college I definitely drew a lot of especially X-Men because I'm a huge X-Men nerd. So I like kind of created like my own alternate universe of X-Men, which is a huge thing in those comics, and drew a lot. And then I just got busy working corporate jobs and living life and all of that stuff. And then I got fortunately, unfortunately for my art, but fortunately I got really into my local community theater, and so I was doing that for a long time. And since I can't do theater right now, it's definitely been a nice little outlet.
And for drag, you just do like cosplay drag.
So yes and no. So most of my, I would say 90% of my drag is cosplay. However, I mean, I do perform not in cosplay. I am also, just a drag queen. Whatever that means. But yeah, I mean, most of my drag is cosplay. So like, I definitely, especially, in this pandemic, that's definitely like the niche that I've been filling, is doing a lot of cosplay looks. But it's also like, for me, that's sort of like where my love of drag started, was trying to recreate like these looks that I loved in comic books. So like, that's why I always kind of go to that. But I mean, I do other stuff. So like, I do host it's now been 3 months, because the last show that we did was for the holidays, and I need to like get back into doing my regular show. But I also host a cabaret called Eleanor's New Deal Cabaret. When we could have in-person and live events, I did one like once a quarter, And it was like a musical theater review. So me and a bunch of my musical theater friends would get together and sing, and I would host, and we'd sing songs and whatever. And like those I didn't do cosplay at. I just created fun looks for. So, but yeah, I would still say like 90% of the stuff that I do is cosplay, or like when I purchase things, I'm like, yeah, I can also use this for this cosplay.
You have to have a multi-purpose.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So like my big problem right now is that I have so many wigs, and I love all of my wigs, but it's like, oh, well, I need a different one for this specific character, because I don't want to just continue to like reuse these same wigs. And I have so many wigs. I just had another one delivered today, and I was like, oh my god, girl, you have a problem.
Did you enter it into the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay.
She was delivered, so she officially went in. I don't quite have a name for her yet, but we'll work that out. Because also I typically style a lot of my own wigs now, but this one I purchased at a wig auction, so it came pre-styled. And even though I kind of bought her like maybe for like a specific cosplay, like looking at her now, I'm like, it's not quite the right color. So I'm not sure that that's what I kind of want to use her for, but we'll see.
Have you ever cosplayed Belle from Beauty and the Beast?
So no. So
all this talk and no Belle?
I know. I don't really identify with Belle. So I have cosplayed Ursula several times. Ursula is definitely where I sort of live in the Disney
we
world.
talked about how she needs her own movie. I don't know why Cruella and all these people are getting movies, and Ursula is the one who needs an origin story.
I mean, valid. Because also, she's not really a villain. She's just a businesswoman.
Yes, the contracts were signed, honey.
Yeah. Now, did she actively also try to make sure that she won? Absolutely. But
play the game.
Yeah. But like I don't necessarily identify with the princesses. Like that's not some, like, I don't know. They're not characters that like I kind of strive to be.
I only liked I really identify with the Little Mermaid because she like was a hoarder, and I'm very big on keeping like everything. Like I had so many Backstreet Boy things at my mom's house, and like these rats got into it, and I almost had a heart attack. I was
no.
like I had every Tiger Beat mag. It was a mess.
So no, I do not have file folders full of magazine clippings from 1997 through 2004. No, I do not have an entire box full of all of the original Power Rangers toys. No, I do not have an entire desk full of nothing but Wonder Woman memorabilia. No, I do not have all of my comic books. From like, girl, no, I feel you on that.
So now I'm like, all my stuff is so sacred. Like I think I have like over 100 pieces on the walls. Like when we moved, I was so excited to get more wall space. I was like, more walls, more art.
Yes. Oh my gosh, like, and that's the other thing too. Like being an adult and being able to decorate my house has been a struggle, because I'm like, I want to just put like all the stuff that I like on the walls, but then I'm like, but also I'm tacky by nature. So,
yes, it doesn't look adult in here. It just looks grown up.
So it's kind of like, oh girl, you do not need to put like this stuff up in this room. So like, for example, you know how like every, especially like suburban woman, has like that animal that like becomes like the animal of their house.
Yeah, my mom butterflies.
Yeah, so my mom had geese for whatever reason.
That's different.
So when my friends first introduced me to Pink Flamingos by John Waters, starring Divine, the inspiration that is Ursula.
Yes.
I was obsessed, because I already knew who Divine was. I was already obsessed with her because of the Ursula connection, and then being a drag queen and an actress and all that stuff. And I was first introduced to her with Hairspray, but I'd never seen any of John Waters' other films. And so my friends, we watched Pink Flamingos together, and I was obsessed. That movie is so crazy and so ridiculous. And so then, and because we live in Maryland, Baltimore is totally a thing, and there's like a whole like flamingo, flamingo themed stuff, and so it became a thing to like give me pink flamingos as like gifts. And so, it just kind of starts out where like someone gives you a flamingo, and then someone sees that you have something flamingo, so then they give you a flamingo.
Mine is snails.
So
my mother-in-law, every time I get a package, it's snail.
I love that. And also, like, the weirder the animal, I think, the better. So, like, good on you for having snails. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Well, in 9th grade, we did like a lab with snails. My biology teacher brought them in from her garden, and I just fell in love. And I was like, at the end of the week, can I have one? And she's like, sure, come on Friday, you can have one of the snails. And then I had pet snails. Every year I'd go back to her class and I'd be like, are you doing the snails this year? And she'd give me one. And then from there, it was like, everyone just gives me snails.
So like when I, long story short, when I moved home to my parents' house for a time, I needed a storage unit. So like, I packed everything up. I had 3 boxes that were labeled flamingos. So when I bought my house and I was moving in, I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with all these damn flamingos? And one of my friends was like, well, you're gonna have your drag room downstairs. Why don't you make the bathroom that's downstairs next to the drag room your flamingo bathroom? And I was like, that's a fucking genius idea. So literally signed the papers for the house. Mother and I went to Lowe's to get paint for the rooms that I wanted to paint. Because also I bought the house Thanksgiving, but I didn't move in until like mid-December. So I had time to like really plan where things went. And I wanted to paint before like furniture came in. And so signed the things, went to Lowe's, came back, painted the bathroom pink. And like that was the first thing that I did in this house. And it became the flamingo bathroom. So they're literally everywhere. And so like you open up the medicine cabinet and I have flamingos in the medicine cabinet.
I love it.
They're everywhere. I keep my flamingo flask down there and it's always full. So if you ever, you're just down there in the bathroom, you're like, yeah, I just need a little nip. You just need a little taste. Even so, like that, no one's ever showered in that bathroom because, just no one ever has. But that tub is where I do all of like my hand washing for my drag, especially wigs. And I even have a flamingo toothbrush that I clean my lace with.
You're like on theme all the way.
Yes.
Is there a flamingo like a toilet brush?
Yes. Flamingo toilet brush, flamingo trash can, flamingo shower curtain, inside the shower. So unfortunately it's not like an actual spout, but a friend found as if someone had hunted a flamingo and cut its head to mount on the wall. So I have like a flamingo head mounted next to the shower head, so it kind of looks like the flamingo is like.
This sounds like the tacky trailer park of my dreams. I grew up in a trailer, so I'm like, yes.
And so, but there were too many flamingos for the bathroom. So it came out into the foyer. And so even like the whole foyer of my house, so as soon as you walk into my house, it's like, flamingos! Like it's definitely super loud, but it's fine.
Do you still get them as gifts?
Oh yeah. So like my when I had my housewarming party, the theme was called "The Flamingos Have Landed," and so a lot of people gave me flamingo themed things for my housewarming. So yeah, we have so many. I have so many flamingo shot glasses. So most of the flamingo shot glasses live in the bathroom, but there are some that are upstairs that we use regularly because I drink a lot.
This year for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yes, most definitely this year. But we also have a flamingo pitcher that stays upstairs because we use that quite often. What else is like flamingo that is upstairs? I have flamingo pillows that should have been outdoor pillows, but like we just have such weird weather down here in Maryland that it just doesn't make sense to keep pillows outside. So they're throw pillows on the. So I have 3 throw pillows. I have 2 flamingos, and then one is Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford from Mommy Dearest.
This house is a look.
it is like I mean, don't let me decorate because it's too much.
I love it. I don't like when I walk into a house and I can't tell who lives there. You know, where it just looks a bit basic. Like I love personality in a home.
Oh, you could. So the only thing that so I really don't like blank walls, but there are a couple of blank walls in my house because it's like framing art is so fucking expensive. And so like I have this very large blank wall, but it is painted blue in my living room, and I have the perfect giant size Barbra Streisand poster to go there, but I need to have it framed so that way it like looks classy and it's not just like a poster on the wall.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be so expensive to have it framed that I've lived in this house for 3 years now, and I'm just dragging my feet.
Just put a little bit away each paycheck, like this is for you, Babs.
Yeah. Because so I have that, and I also have like some comic book prints that I bought at conventions that I've gone to that I need to get framed. There's an artist on Instagram. Her name is Cuddles with Cats, and she does a lot of like especially like queer centric fan art stuff. And I need to get those framed, and I'm gonna put them above my bed. So I think I have like 5 or 6 of her prints now, because they're cute, they're colorful, they definitely like speak to me. So I need to get those framed and put up. Because like my bedroom, I wanted to like I wanted to like have my bedroom like be like quote adult, but I have like this little like it's kind of like an office space that's in my master bedroom, but that I've made it like my nerd nook, like it's where I have my comics and my DVDs and all of my stuff. And so it's like I wanted to keep the nerd stuff like inside there, but there's just so much of it. But it's like I can't keep it contained in there. So I'm just like, it's fine, it's my bedroom. Like no one comes up here unless we fucking, and if we fucking then you're gonna have to like this stuff. So
I don't, those like adult houses with the live, laugh, love, and
no. Like, well, like originally I thought I wanted to get like sort of more like modern art pieces that are that just like, and I was like, no, because the only time that I see stuff like that is like at Target and IKEA, and I'm like, I know there are some basic ass white people who have this on their wall. Like I can't do that.
No, like no. We're almost done here. So we've gone like over a year now. It's like no conventions, no going out to the clubs. We pretty much just have the internet to showcase what we're doing. Have you been working on any new looks that you're holding on to until this is over?
So no. I like as soon as I'm done with the look, it's full go time. We're posting it. We're doing the thing. So I mean so my very good Judy, Dax exclamation point and I, we do like a lot of matching looks together, and I have a whole spreadsheet of just the looks that we plan to do. So I mean, there were a couple that got put on the back burner, but like by back burner I mean like I'm not gonna work on those until I know that we're gonna be going to conventions again. But like all the other stuff that I've been working on, it's like, I mean, it's gonna be hard when conventions come back, and I'm like, I don't know. I want everyone to see these in person. Like, I need to bring all of them. So I'm gonna bring 20 full looks to be like, okay, I'm gonna go change every 15 minutes. Okay, everyone.
Costume change.
But no, so like the big one that I'm working on right now, the character's name is Cerise. She's from the 1993-ish comic book run of Excalibur, which was an X-Men shoot-off. And she's definitely getting there. The suit is pretty much done. Miss Carol, my lovely seamstress, finished it, so I need to like try it on, but I'm gonna wait for Dax. So Dax and I are gonna get together, I think this weekend, to work more on the foam pieces that she's making for me. So we've got to figure out this dumb headpiece It is a full foam skull cap. It looks like a helmet, but she has hair that sticks straight out of the sides and a ridiculously long, stupid ponytail that comes out of the top of it. So it's like, we got to figure out how that's going to work.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is. But when it comes together, it's going to be so amazing. But like as soon as she's done, I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to, post it. And then eventually I want to film a number, a digital number for her. And it'll probably go, because we also, like I have planned out, because I'm a crazy person and have everything organized. We'll probably be doing a show in June for Pride. So I will probably be using that number for that. But speaking of, so when is this gonna come out? When is this?
Will be out. I'm hoping to start releasing them April 7th.
Okay, work.
3rd,
Okay.
So
Okay.
14th,
Cool.
21st.
Okay. No. You just let me know, because I just want to make sure that I promote stuff. But I mean, I was going to talk about I've got stuff coming up this weekend, but by this point it'll all be out. But yeah.
Tell us what you have coming up in the next couple of weeks, in April, May, June, and where we can find you.
So hopefully, so me and Dax exclamation point and two of our other friends, Joe Mama from Chicago and Mr., who is from Charlotte, North Carolina, we have a little group that we have called the Qweens, and we are going to start doing, hopefully, again, April is supposed to be the first month, so hopefully it'll come together. But we're going to be doing some monthly collaborations. So in April, we're doing what we're calling the Me Party from the Muppets, where we're going to really showcase, because we've now been a year in this panoramic. So we're just going to be showcasing all of the work that we have done over this past year, and you call it a Me Party. And then in May, we are going to be doing the Alvin and the Chipmunks, hopefully.
Are you going to be the Chipmunks or the Chipettes?
Well, we're going to be the Chipettes. Joe has graciously accepted being the Chipmunks in all of our videos.
Are you going to do the songs from the movie?
So no. So we decided that we're each gonna do a solo song and then do like a group number together. And we decided that we were gonna use Britney Spears as like that's gonna be the running theme, is that we're all gonna use Britney Spears songs. I chose Email My Heart, which is
the most song. Dated Britney Spears song.
Yes! which is what makes it so good. It's so bad. I love it.
I think that's the closing track on that album too.
Yes, it is.
Because it's like, girl.
Yes.
That and like the Jamaican sounding one on that record, where I'm like, it's like when the white girls went to like spring break with their family and came back with that one braided
Yes. Exactly. But then we're gonna do a show in June for Pride, and I mean we've kind of got them planned out, but hopefully Me Party comes together, and so you can follow Qweens, ConQweens on Twitter and Instagram, and then you can follow me and all of my other super fun adventures. D'Manda Martini, DMANDA MARTINI, and I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, although I don't stream myself, but you can still find me on there. I'm on all the things. You can also, if you go to any of my profiles on like the main three of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can find my link tree. I also have merch available on Redbubble, which is super cute. So come find me. I'm always up for fun conversations if people ever want to ask me random stuff. I decided that yesterday I was going to do a live stream while I was getting ready. And then because we didn't do our regular live stream, I was like, I'll just go live again on Instagram. And like, that was fun to just like kind of be open for questions and people to just ask me whatever. A lot of people ask me super nerd stuff, which of course I'm always wanting to talk about. And people also ask me a lot about like, you know, the kinds of wigs that I use, makeup brands, stuff like that. I'm always down for questions. So come find me and talk.
Well, D'Manda, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about your random crush beast. And everyone, you can find all of D'Manda's information below in the description. Until next time, keep crushing it.